and welcome to Experience Artistic Consultants. Um, I'm just gonna keep going live, until people catch up with me. Okay, and so this channel is new, and uh, I'm just really having a really good time doing this because I know that it's helping me along the way too, and hopefully the intent is to help other artists, especially beginner artists. But then I have over 20 plus years as a visual artist myself, a practicing visual artist myself, based out of Chicago. And I've had a lot of experiences, good, bad, and indifferent, whatever. But it has certainly brought me a long way. And I really would love to just help other artists and encourage them, to not give up and to find their purpose. A lot of us we create work, we provide services, whether it be theater, whatever, performance, music, and but we never really find our true purpose, right? And that's the beauty about art, though. If you really take it serious and not just see it as a hobby, right? It even as a hobby, though, I imagine if you are um, really expressing yourself truly, right? You can you can really find where you want to fit in, in the world, and um, how you want to live in the world, as an artist. Um, but you can also find out, hey, I don't want to do art, but expressing myself through art, I've found what I really want to do and where I really want to be. But anyway, this channel is more so to help us find our purpose and to help us brand ourselves, um, and to pick ourselves up as professional artists, to see ourselves as artists out here in the world, sharing what we do. And that, when you get to that point, it's such freedom, right? Because I remember my mom my mom wasn't so happy with me wanting to be an artist, although they did, my parents did, um it's a word for that, they did entertain me from that perspective, meaning that they took me to museums, art museums, and bought me, the markers and the crayons and the paper and the paint, and my mom said I've always been interested in expressing myself that way. She would like just give me paper and crayons, and she says I would just be quiet for hours, and that helps her get work done and stuff. So my gift is, I see my art as a gift. I see it as a gift from the creator of heaven and earth and all therein. And, um, but I also see it at this point, a gift that helps others, right? Even though it's through painting and drawing, if you ever put yourself out there and started to just share your skills and your talent, it's like, wow, you make people happy. People have come to my classes in the past, and because I don't do classes right now, not that I wouldn't, but that's just not where I'm at right now. But in the past, when I've done classes, I've worked with ages 6 to in adults, should I say, from 6 years old to adults. And a lot of the adults would like, I really want to do art, I really want to paint, I really want to draw, but I really suck. And I'm like, well, just take a class, take my class, and they take the class, and the next thing you know, they're very into it, And I have people today that have taken my classes, and they are now, doing exhibits, and their work is very impressive, and that made me feel like, I'm finding my purpose, even though right then and there, I don't think I had the idea of a purpose. But now, since I've stuck with it, I'm beginning to understand my purpose a bit better. So, um, to move forward, this particular segment, and if I jump around and move too fast, forgive me. Um, but it'll become cohesive after a minute or two. All right, bear with me. All right, so, oh, hello. All right, so now I always have my notes because it's kind of hot here. Okay, because sometimes, like I said, I'll go here and then I'll end up over there just to come back over here. Like, who does that? I do. Okay, so now this segment is how artists build career connections of value. And why this is so important to get is a lot of times artists, we do not see ourselves as business people. We do not embrace the fact that we are entrepreneurs. You know, um, we are in business. If you are out here gigging, if you are out here, doing art classes, if you are out here, as an instructor, if you are out here doing work on commission, if you are, you have a business and you have to see it as a business, whether you want to or not. And that means that there are certain things that we're just going to have to buckle down and we're just going to have to do, or either we have to hire someone to do it. It's just that simple if you want to remain in it, um, most stress free, right? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now these things, as usual with me, they are not written in any type of, importance of how they're listed. They're just important, and you would have to apply them as you familiarize yourself with them, right? I may put these things, start putting these things in the description area. Um, yeah, but for now, and I'm working on my website. Um, so I got a lot of work ahead of me, but um, I'm having fun. Okay, so the first thing, you want to be authentic, right? When we are building our career connections of value, that's the word to focus on. Value. We're building a career of value, right? I'm sorry, we're building a career connection of value. All right. So I'm very picky about who I hang around. I'm very picky about who I allow in my space, who I call friend, who I call associate. I'm very picky about this because, and I've been told, perhaps that the way I'm thinking of this is rude, or it's just not, it's not right. Okay. But anyway, I don't see wasting my time being with people who drain me, you know, or, people who um, take me off of my square, so to speak, or, um, they take up a lot of my time and I'm not doing anything productive, or people who are, they're just drama driven, you know, they don't have any type of goals, or they're not on any type of self realization, purpose. I just don't. I don't want to waste my time with people um, who are not trying to better themselves as a person, or add something to the world. So that's important to And that's how you get value out of your connections, right? That is how you get the value from your connections, is when you set those realistic terms. You set those realistic boundaries and limitations, okay, for yourself and for others, and you respect them. They're just not, it's just not loosey goosey, and I'm just gonna just hang out with anybody and meet anybody. All right, no, not, and especially when it comes down to your career, that you want to be very picky about that, right? And so you want to be real, and that's part of your realism, right? That's part of your, to know who you want in your life, and why you want these people in your life, or why you want to be a part of their life. So in any job search, right, or networking situation, it's important that you be yourself, and that's the real you. Okay, so what that means here is that you can't afford to put on airs, because that's something else that eventually comes and bite you in the butt. People are going to pick up on airs. We just do. We're spirit, and if you're really honest with yourself, when you've met someone um who's not altogether there, consciously, they have too much hole in their donut, the elevator don't go all the way up. Someone who's conflicting, people who just have this really nasty spirit and all of that, or people who are just trying to tell you that they got this, and they drive this car, they live here, and all this fronting, and buying the best of whatever, that their money can't afford, and the list can go on and on and on. But you know, it's just important to convey who you are, who your real self is in the world. Period. Everybody's not gonna like it. Everybody's not gonna like you, and that's okay. You don't want to be bothered with those people anyway. All right. So it's important that when we are out here making these career connections, that we be our authentic self, so that in return we can meet other authentic people. All right. Number two, be considerate. Always be considerate. Okay. When someone takes their time out to do a thing with you, or for you, or because of you, be considerate and say thank you. Be considerate and see if they, what could you do for them in return. Don't just soak up all of the gives, don't just suck up all the what you're receiving from a person and or people, and never try to return anything to them, even if it's just a smile, and say thank you for it. Be considerate. Say, open the car door, open the door for a person. When you coming in, leave, open the door so that they can come in too, or whatever. If they're behind you, leave the door open. Just be nice. Be considerate. It goes a long way when you're making career connections. Okay, and these are just the basic, simple foundation of having people to recognize you eventually when you walk into a room, right? And not shun away from you, or run away from you, or ignore you. So this is very important. All right. And it seems like they seem like no brainers, but we don't. Uh, we're not conscious of it a lot of times, that we are not applying these things, and that's why it's important to really think about it as we go along. Okay, so three, ask for advice and not a job. So when you're out and about and you're doing your network, um, when you meet people, or a person that perhaps is in a position to give you a job, or a project, a contractual project, whatever, you know, um, your purpose for being there. If you've gone to this party, you're going to this party, you're going to this exhibit, or whatever, your reasons for being there when it comes down to networking and making those connections. But it doesn't have to be um, the so obvious that it's like, hey, well, hey, Kate, what about that job? Do you have a job available right now? I mean, first of all, you most likely don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even know the person that they're you know coming to ask for anything, right? You're meeting and you're trying to establish yourself um, with this person. So, asking them for something um, out the gate, it's just not really good to do that. You just need to wait and, you know, be patient and strike up conversations and stuff like that. But if they talk about projects, available projects, and things that they're open to doing right now, and the conversation comes out of their mouth, now, okay, fine. Hey, now you can say whatever. I do this, I do that, and I would love to be able to do this project, or I would love to be able to submit a proposal to you. That's great. You know what I mean? But don't be the first to bring it up. Okay. Number four, be specific in your request. Now, when, say for instance, um, that person does open up the conversation about having um, a project or a job available. Now, you should be specific about what you want to do within the structure of that project, right? Be, don't just be like, well, I can do the job. I can do the job. Well, you need to find out what job it is, and you specifically need to know your limitations about being able to actually perform it, right? And and you want to get it so that you know that you could deliver whatever it is that they want. You want that. That's what you want to be able to do. So that's part of your confidence, building your confidence too. When you know exactly what you want at that time and what you want to do. It may change along the way once you get in, but at least you know that, hey, I'm starting out with something that I can actually do. And so you want to be specific in the conversation about what it is, whatever that may be. All right, number five. Um, tap into your strong ties. So this means that we all, at some point in our life, we know quite a few people, even if we don't socialize with these people on a regular basis. We still know a lot of people, right? And we usually know more people than we know. And the reason why we do is because we know people. And so that person knows that person, and that person knows that person, and that person knows that person. And somewhere down the line, you're going to meet a really great um, uh, um, opportunity, you know, and you're going to meet some really great people that you normally would not have met had not you known that person. Okay. So you can't be afraid either to call people up, someone who and you've been knowing for a while or whatever. You guys have established some type of relationship, and just you can call them up and see, if they know a certain person, or if there are any projects that they're working on, or other people they may know, if they're working on any projects. Like I said, you have to treat your career, you have to treat your artist journey as a career as well as a job, because that is what it is. It is a job. All right. And you have a lot of bosses sometimes. Sometimes if your service and your work is really good, and people want to hire you for projects and stuff like that, those people become your boss. All right. So you will find yourself having multiple bosses. All right. But anyway, you just want to tap into your strong ties. All right. So that's important to not be burning bridges, right? You don't want to burn bridges with people as if you can help it. You really don't. Um, all right. Number six, think about where you want to go. All right. This is important too. So you want to think about where you want to go. What do you want to achieve from making this connection? Right. You want to think about why. Why do I want to get to know this person? Um, how is it beneficial for me to know this person? Right. Um, and before you actually, sometimes if, how can I put it? You want to identify your goals for wanting to network. That's important to identify your goals for wanting to network. So even in meeting people, there should be a specific reason why you want to meet this person. That should be part of your goal, your your objectives, part of uh, your planning, your blueprint to your success is to understand why you want to meet a person, you know, for what? Okay. People lives are busy. It is what it is. And um, you don't want to just be in a person's face just be, just because you can, you know, ugh. Have a reason for being there, for goodness sake. Okay. And realize how that meeting will help you and help your career. All right. Number seven, make the process of connecting a priority. So when you want your career to take off in any type of direction, you want to make it a priority when you're meeting these people. And that's why it's important to know why you want to meet certain people. What is it that you want of them? You know, you need to figure that out before you just go making all these different connections and stuff. What's the value in them? Okay. All right. Um, if you've gone to any type of university, college, um, they have alumni. And so now that's something that I really didn't do. I didn't stay very connected to my alumni at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, but um, they're really easy to get in contact with. Now, the problem would probably be, it's like, okay, well, I don't remember you because it's been so long. But when I did stay connected with my alumni, they were beautiful people. Okay. And the reason why, again, is important to stay connected with your college peers and colleagues is for that reason. You never know who they know, and you never know what they are up to, and how you could, benefit from being a part of whatever it is that they're doing at the moment. Okay. So once again, it's good not to burn bridges if you can help it. All right. And walk across those bridges sometime and connect. Okay. All right. So number nine, create a give take, right? You want to take, give relationship. So you want to think about what you can offer, what you can bring to the table. Now, some of these things may seem like they overlap one another. And oftentimes it does sound, but there's always a little bit of something that could be tweaked, right? And so you want to create this give and take relationship. That's very important. You want to do that. Uh, Even if the relationship doesn't seem like it's lasting, well, nothing is lasting. You know what I mean? It's like we're here today, gone tomorrow. Life, death. It is what it is. Just life, death is in relationships. So, and people come into our lives for a reason, and they leave out. We come into a people lives for a reason, and we leave out. Now we not necessarily dying, but just we take different routes. We got different routes to take, so we learn from these people and they learn from us. And we give them something, they give us something, we take something, and they take something. You always want to try to have a win-win type of scenario. I don't care in any type of transactions that we do, we want to try to have a win-win scenario. All right. So when you're meeting people for the first time, it's like you want to consciously consider, what can I give this person to take away with them? It could be, once again, you'd be surprised what a smile can do. You'd be surprised what some happy words, some positive words, some positive encouragement can do. It doesn't necessarily always have to be a tangible gift. It could be just a gift of your energy, your happiness, your joy. I get it a lot, and I like it. I like the fact that people tend to like me, believe it or not. But they do. They tend to like me, and a lot of times I find that they give me more credit in the happy zone than actually exists. But if that vibe that I give off with them makes them feel good, and they're leaving me with a good feeling, that's a good thing, because now that brings on this connection subliminally, subconsciously. We now have a connection, right? Just by my good vibes, they liked them, they connected with them, and that's good. All right. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be a tangible thing, but do give something away, you know, from your personal self. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Number 10, prepare what you will say. Have an idea of how you want the other to see you. Now, this is important, right? I told you before, I'm not putting it in any type of order, but as you can see, some of these things perhaps could be in some type of order if you're actually doing outing or something, or attending an event. But anyway, um, you want to prepare what you will say. A lot of times we think we got it under control, right? We think that I know what I'm going to do, I know what I'm going to say, and then you know, time comes, you don't know what to say. You don't know how to start a conversation, or you don't know how to deal with certain people attitudes and characteristics, and all of that. And because everybody's different, and so you can't treat everybody the same, because everybody's different. You can't approach everybody the same. um, But for the most part, there is a general way, right? There's a general way that we can all start a connection and start a network. There's a general way to do it. And so, but you want to be authentic and real with it. So you want to say, if you attend an exhibit, right? And um, there's going to be some movers and some shakers there that you want to connect with, right? Well, you got a picture in your head before getting there. Visualize it, you know, um, think about it, say it out loud, hear it. How does it sound to you? Does it sound friendly? Hi, my name is such and such such. I've heard a lot about you. I would love to get to know more about you now, and something. You know what I mean? It's just you want to be yourself, whatever it is that you do or say. You want that to come off genuine. So you need to think about what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, and feel comfortable with it. Okay. All right. So number 11, hook up with as many as you can. So when you're out when you're at the outing, you want to connect with as many people as you possibly can connect with. Now, but you want to keep in mind, um, as you go on, some of these people are going to drop to the wayside too. But it's always nice to know as many people as you can in your business, or in your genre, whatever it is that you're doing. It's good to know as many people as possible, right? Now, this is important too. Consider who are the movers and the shakers. Okay. If you can't get to them directly, right, then who might you need to get with to make the needed contact to the primary source? All right. So think about, if I can't get to the gallery owner themselves, then is the manager here? You know, is the supervisor here? Um, Heck, is the receptionist here? You know, somebody that can eventually get you in front of your primary connection, right? So never treat people with disrespect, or treat them or devalue anybody, because you never know who that person knows, right? It's like that thing about treating the waiter, the busboy, whatever you call those, just the janitor, or someone whom most people believe that, their jobs are not that important and not that significant, right? I'm not one of those people, but there are people out here that do. And then they treat these people badly. They speak down to them and stuff. But, excuse me, that's not what you want to do. If you're the type of person to do that, you're ruining your own chances. You're ruining a whole lot of opportunities when you just treat people badly, because you don't know who they are connected to. Okay, you don't know. And my sinuses is kicking in. All right. So, all right. Number 12. If you want to connect with someone, find a way to help that person. This helps a lot too. When you um, want someone, let me read that again. If you want to connect with someone, find a way to help that person. Okay, I did that right. So you want to find a way to help other people. You don't want to just seem like you're out there, you know, got your hand out and gimme, gimme, gimme. Once again, you want to know how I can be of service to this person. How can what I do help them? So a lot of times, and I've talked about this before, when it comes down to volunteer, when it comes down to um, giving your work away, all right, these are the good times to do these things, to find out, if the business is trying to raise funds, you know, um, if the gallery is trying to raise funds for whatever reason, or what have you. This is a time where you could donate some work, and it's also a tax write-off. So, woohoo. Um, yeah, and volunteering is just another way of being able to get those connections and make those connections, okay, over time, over time. But it's a win-win situation once again, because you're giving and they're receiving, and you're receiving and they're giving. Okay, they're giving you an opportunity, and a great opportunity at that, right? So that's to be considered. Now, 13, it helps to be interesting. All right. So now remember, we are talking about career connections of value. And so there's a process to it, and there's a way that you want to do it where it's growing, right? You want to do it where people are going to um, talk about you in a good way, right? Your reputation. You want to form that. And so when you step out there and you start doing these things and making these great connections and stuff with people, and showing them that you truly have an interest, and you have a passion and and that connects, that because you're you're talking to people who understand what you do. They have a passion also for what you do, right? And so that in itself is an interesting conversation to start, right? Because now you can open up with um, what you do, what find people love talking about themselves. So that's interesting, and that's interesting to them in itself, and and you may find interest in it too along the way, right? Uh, 14, try to give them something before asking. So we kind of talked about that too. And I said before, certain things seem like they overlap, but you want to try to give them something before asking, right? So um, it could be something you made, you know, it could be, um, it could be another connection that they're looking for, but you never know these things until you start, ask start the conversation, you know. And so as you start the conversation, you'll begin to hear and pick up on what the needs are of this person and how they're looking for whoever to fulfill them. And that's your cue to identify if you are it, right? And but you definitely want to give before receiving, if especially once again when you're trying to establish a relationship of value, because honestly, what is value? Value has weight to it. It's a tangible thing. Okay. um so you want to give something and not just always looking for something to come at you. Be the first one to step out and give something before asking someone for anything. All right. I hope that makes sense. All right. Number 15, be generous. Right. So you want to be generous. Um, yeah, generous. You can be generous with your time. You can be generous with your art, your services. You could be generous. You're creative. Think about it. How can you be generous? But the only way you really know how to be fitting for a person, and that when we're talking about generosity, is to get to know them. So that has to do a lot with conversation. And it's so sad because a lot of artists are not talkative. You know, we're a lot of us, believe it or not, are introverts, and but you have to push yourself. you know that's where self-esteem comes from. If you suffer from low self-esteem, usually it's because you're not doing what um, you are supposed to be doing. Okay. You are waiting for the universe, you're waiting for the creator, the most high, to just do it all. And if it doesn't come, well, you ain't doing it. You're not going to be the one to do it. But it doesn't work like that. So you just have to do it a little bit at a time. Get yourself out there a little bit at a time. Excuse me. So even if you I didn't bring my water. So even if you stay 1 hour at a place, 2 hours at a place, that's good, because you could easily meet one person. One person can easily take up a whole hour of conversation before you know it, right? And before you know it, you are meshing in, all right? If that makes sense. All right, so um, that that's going to do it. And the next segment will be about how to make valuable connections. All right. Now, I know once again that sounds probably similar, and it is. However, one is more about making career connections, right? Valuable career connections. And this other one is how to just make valuable connections in that that can help you with your exposure, right? Individuals, dealing with individuals, not so much as looking for the shakers, the movers and the shakers, but just pretty much looking how looking at art lovers. Let's just say that people who just enjoy art, but they have connections as well, but you wouldn't know it because you, or you feel sort of a kind of way. You're not comfortable with approaching these people. It could be your neighbor, you know what I mean? So it's just we're not done with building, how to build valuable connections and network. All right. Okay, so I hope all that made sense to you. And let's see, I'm not really sure when I'm going to really start doing these videos on a specific time. I just know right now I want to pump out about 100 of them, because I know that I wish someone had talked to me about all these things that I'm sharing today. And like I said in one video too, it's like I'm not sure if I would have heeded to all of it at that time, but I realized that um, there's if I could go back and do it again, I would definitely do some things differently. Yeah. So, all right. Stay encouraged, practice what you do. Um, Stay true to yourself. That's what's most important, that you stay true to yourself, and everything else is going to fall in place. Don't give up. Do not give up. Stay with it. Stay with it. Love it. Nurture it. Cultivate it. Share it. All that good stuff. All right. And please leave your comments if you have any, and add some things too. We could use that. You know, it's all about growing together. And yeah, subscribe. It's going to get better. Trust me. I tell you, it's going to get better. All right. And you never know who you would be helping when you actually share information like this, especially to other artists and younger artists, novice artists, that's just getting out. Okay. All right. On that note, best creative regards, and see you soon.